Hey guys, today what I want to do is I want to do a really good review video on the Destro machine's swim meter. I know there's a lot of flashy videos and things like that out there, but I realized that we don't have a lot of good video footage and reviews and instructional tutorials to show you what it is, what it can do, and how to use it and all those types of things. So that's what I hope to do here today with this video.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go to the web store where you can buy these swim meters and just take a look at it. So this is a swim meter. It just attaches to the front of your double tower or your single tower. For a double tower, if you want to time two different belts at two different times, you'd need two. Or you could use both belts at the same time running one meter, and that would effectively time your whole rep. It's just if you wanted two athletes on there at once, you'd need 2 meters. And keep in mind, double tower is designed to use 2 athletes at once. There is the added benefit of being able to use 2 buckets on 1 athlete if you so choose to do that. So we're going to scroll down below here and check out basically what it can do on paper. So the basic features are that it tracks your splits 5, 10, 15, 20 meters. It will also show you the difference between your last rep and your current rep, so you can make a quick technique change and see how that impacts your swim time to whatever distance you may want to swim to. Also, it's got very high accuracy, as you can see here. We did that by having a lot of data points very quickly with the sensor. The battery lasts a long time. It comes with one installed and one in the package. So I'll open the package up for you later, and then I'll take you to the pool and I'll show you everything on how this works, what you get in the box, all that type of thing. And then this last part is kind of the advanced features where you get the Wi-Fi capability. It can connect to our online app. I will show you step by step how to register for the app, how to connect to it with your swim meter, how to get all that set up so that you can get your data and get all those advanced features in this video.
Alright, so when we open swim meter package, you got your QR code here. This will give you your instructions. It'll take you to your paper instructions. If you have any questions, you can refer to those. Next, we've got a nice charging kit here. This has got your spare battery in it. It's got your double charging with USB. This is so that international customers don't have an issue with the conversion for voltages. So we've got a nice charger that'll work for everybody in here, along with a spare battery for each of the meters that you get. That way you can have one charging and one running at all times, and you never have any downtime. All right, so next we get into the meter itself. First thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna take a look at just the basic things here. You can see this is where it mounts on the tower. You'll slide that on. I'll show you how to do that when we get to the install section of this video. And you've got the actual sensor. So that's this wheel. It's encoded so that we know how fast it's going. That's how we really get the data. You'll also see you have the power button here and then the reset button here. Turn it around. We can see on the back there's a battery cover, and then you already have a battery installed inside. So we're going to power this thing up. All right, so we hit the power button. She's starting up. Here we go. We're ready to go. If you were hooked up to a tower, you could just push off and it would start timing right away. So some of the things, this is a touch screen. So what we want to do is we want to say, okay, how much water is in the bucket? And you can measure that based off of the lines that are inside your bucket. So you got 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40, 50, whatever you have in there. Just go ahead and put that in. That'll allow you to get accurate power readings. You don't actually have to do that, but for your power readings to be accurate, you will want to put that in. The sensor detects one direction motion. So if I start going like this, which would effectively be reverse, nothing happens. That would be basically if the rope is returning to the wall. It works by detecting the rope traveling away from the wall. So your swimmers, you'll want to instruct them when they're on the wall, be kind of still. Don't jerk the rope, or it could do something like this and trip a false false timing. And you'll see you'll get DNF in this situation because they didn't travel 5 meters or more with the belt. So to install your new swim meter on your swim tower, you want to do a couple things. First thing you want to do is take off the old lower pulley and belt. So you're going to do this by taking a provided Allen key or your own Allen key. You'll loosen and remove this screw. You can then pull the horizontal bar out of the way. With the horizontal bar out of the way, you can slide the lower pulley off. We can then untie the rope from the D-ring, remove the belt, remove the lower pulley, and now we're ready to install the swim meter. All right, slide the swim meter onto the horizontal bar, and we're gonna feed the rope through the back side of the pulley. You'll feed the rope through the lower pulley. Now you're ready to tie the rope back onto the D-ring. You'll use a simple fisherman's knot. You can look this up online. We can provide you instructions on how to do it, but it's a very simple knot. I'm just gonna do it very quickly for you. Once the swim meter is installed on the horizontal bar, you just have one more step to go, and that's to reattach the horizontal bar to the frame using the screw and the provided Allen wrench. So now that you've installed your swim meter on your swim tower, you'll want to do basic operation. So the first thing you do is you push the power button. It should boot up for you, and when it's booted up, it'll say ready go. Once you're on the ready go screen, you can put in your water level and your athlete number. Your water level you should put in using the touchscreen to match how much water you read on the label in the bucket. So right now I have 70 pounds in, so I will put in that I have 70 as my water level. The athlete number is used if you have more than one athlete using the same swim meter. If you want to be able to differentiate between which athlete did which rep on which day inside of our swimming database, you'll want to make sure that they're always using the same unique athlete number. From there, you're pretty much ready to go with all of the basic features. All you need to do now is put the belt on, push off, and the swim meter will do the rest. After you completed your rep, you'll be brought to this screen where you can see your splits to 5, 10, 15, 20 meters, depending on how far you traveled down the pool. Additionally, in parentheses, you'll see your splits for your previous rep, so you can easily make a technique change and see what kind of speed differences you get from that technique change. Additionally to that, you'll see your critical zone velocity readout. That is your average velocity between 5 and 10 meters as you're traveling down the pool. This gives you a good idea of how fast you're actually swimming by taking out the breakout and taking out the end of the rep where you would be most fatigued. Finally, you'll see CZ power. This is short for critical zone power. This is just a metric of your critical zone velocity multiplied by how much resistance you had in the bucket. You see here we had 0 weight, so we had 0 power. Once you've completed your rep, simply hit the reset button and be taken back to the ready go screen. You can then change your athlete number, change your water number, or just get ready to do your next rep.
All right guys, so the next thing that we're gonna do, we need to create an account for the Destro Machine SwimView application, and then log in, get signed in on your swim meter, make sure that data is transmitting from the meter on your tool deck into the SwimView application so that you can see all those basic features and advanced features. So we're gonna take you through that right now.
Okay guys, for your login credentials for the SwimView app, make sure that you do not confuse it with your Destro Machine's web store login that you can see right here. You would go to SwimView here. That will take us to SwimView. We'll enter our email address in here, assuming that you haven't already done this. Now keep in mind, this is a different login than your web store login. So do not confuse it. You can use the same email address, just make sure that you know the difference between what account is what password's what, and then we'll hit get started. You can also sign up here in the right hand corner. And so we'll hit get started. Here's all the information that you'll need to complete. Once you've completed all of this, you'll be sent a verification email. Please go to your email address and verify your new account, otherwise you won't be able to log in. Okay, so I already have an account. Okay, we got logged in here. Here's our home page. There's a few different places where you can find your data. And this home page, it's going to give it to you by date. So we're going to go back and see, when did I put some data in? Okay, back here in April. This is obviously a test account. That's why there's not much data. We will go to the 17th. You can see here that your data is loading. This gives you all of your reps that you completed on the 17th. The other way to find your data, you can go to the swim lab function. This will actually populate all of your data ever, so it takes a little bit longer. Here we go. We have our data loaded in here. So at this point, you won't have any data because you haven't connected your SwimMeter yet. So we're going to take you over to SwimMeter and show you how to do that.
Okay, so next thing you're going to do is you're going to grab your meter, power it up, make sure that it's in range of your Wi-Fi network, and you know your credentials and your login and all that.
Now over on the meter, we're going to go to offline. That's going to take us to our Wi-Fi Connect page. We're going to scan for networks available in the area. As long as you're in range of your network, you should be able to find your network. So here is mine. I'm going to connect there. It is a WPA2 network. And then I'll enter my password here. Okay, I've entered my password and I'll hit join. It should try to connect to the Wi-Fi network. If everything goes well and everything's correct, you'll get it connected to Wi-Fi. And you can see it here on your home screen where it says online. Now we have not logged in here. We'll hit this button. This is where you'll enter your new Destro Machines username that you entered, as well as after this page, you'll enter your password. As long as all those credentials are verified and correct, you will be connected. Here we are logging in now. Correct credentials, login succeeded. And we're taken back to the home page. As you can see here, we're online, we're logged in, we are ready to go. So any data submitted through this sensor now will go straight to your database. You'll be able to see it on your home screen on your SwimView application. So we'll go over there now and check it out.
Okay, so here we are on the home page. We're on today's date, and I'm going to send some data in on this new SwimMeter that I just set up so you can see how it works in real time.
So we're logged in here, as you can see. Everything's good. We're set up on the Wi-Fi, and we're going to give this a test run. So remember, when you spin this by hand, you have to spin it backwards because that is as if the rope was leaving the pool. So I'll spin it this direction. It starts timing the rep. That should have been about 5 meters, I would say, right there. So we're going to stop. And there we have our splits. We can look at that on the meter, but we will also go over and look at our SwimView application to see what's going on.
Okay, over on the SwimView side, here's today's date. I'm just going to hit the refresh button. So now that we have some data in our system, we can start using some of the basic features here. We'll just take a look at how this works. So right here, this data I just submitted. Now, obviously this is not real. This was me spinning it with my finger, so it's not going to look like a swim. But we're going to check this out. We're going to view the lap data. Here you can see each time my finger hit the wheel and how much energy or speed I was putting into the wheel, different velocities. What my theoretical times would have been to these distances had I actually been swimming, excuse me. As well as the sector velocity. We talked about the sector velocity in the previous segments, and we like this metric because it's really good at showing what your peak average swimming speed is. Generally, this takes place after the breakout, unless you're doing underwater dolphin kicking or something like that, where you're at your peak speed and you haven't started to slow down yet. So that's why we really like sector velocity as kind of determining how fast the rep was. Now, granted, what you're doing in your practice instructing your athletes to do could drastically change what this means to you. So it's just important that you're aware of what that means. Another feature that we've implemented here is the export to CSV button. So all of the data that appears here, you can export to CSV. We'll also have that in the Swim Lab tab later so that you can export all of your swims you've ever had. That'll allow you to do things like, annotate on the labs, manipulate the data however you want, put names, whatever you may want to do, you can do that through the Export to CSV tab. We just give you all of the raw data here. We are looking to improve some of the things that you can do as far as spreadsheeting, data annotation, things like that. But for the time being, you can get that all done in Excel. One more basic function you can do is if you go over here to the search tab, hit search. This is a very, very cool feature of this application. We've created it so that it's completely open so that you can see anyone's data at any given time. So if you want to compare yourself to what other people are doing or just look through different data sets, it's available for you here in the search menu. We've got Nemo up here in Canada. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me showing this to you, but it looks like he completed one somewhat recently, or maybe that was a little while ago, but we'll take a look at this swim. So we can see some of his data, so I'm just going to open this up in Swim Lab, and this is going to show us some more of the advanced features that we're going to talk about in the next video.
So now you know that your swim meter is connected directly to your SwimView application. So every single time you power it on, it should automatically connect to your Wi-Fi and your login and submit all that data so that you're not losing any of that information. The only time that that'll change is when we submit an over-the-air update. You can keep an eye on that and you'll know when the updates happen because you'll lose your login credentials and you'll have to re-enter those. We don't expect to do a lot of updates. We try to put in a lot of new features so that you're not having to re-put in your credentials frequently, but we will have to do that occasionally. That's just to add new features, make the swim meter even better. So every time you have to put in your credentials, just know, oh, I got some really cool new features and fixes that are just going to make my device better. So it should be an exciting thing for you.
You can see on the screen in front of me, I have pulled up some data from one of our Olympians. He was kind enough to send us this data along with a video so that we could go through kind of the very cool advanced features that we have available and show you how to use them. So you can see here the date and time he recorded this, his sector velocity, and your actual resistance that he had in the bucket. So we're going to go and we're going to view his lap data. So we can see here, this is his velocity plotted against the position that he is at in the pool. So for instance, at the 5 meter mark, he's traveling at 1.35 meters per second. You can also export this as raw data into CSV, which can be imported to Google Sheets or Excel, and you can break it down however you want into that micro data to analyze the stroke. Or you can just see how long it took your athlete to get to 5, 10, 15, 20 meters. And keep in mind, everyone, this is the belt travel. So the belt traveled 5 meters, 10 meters, 15, 20 meters. So depending on how tall they are, how long their arm is, 20 meters is pretty close to the end of a short course 25-yard pool. Keep that in mind. And then we have sector power. This is basically just sector velocity times or as a factor of how much weight is in the bucket. So we travel on to the more advanced features now, which is the video. So we call it Swim Lab right now. The hardest part about Swim Lab is getting the video synchronized with the data, and I'm going to show you my process for doing that. It's different for every stroke, it's kind of different for every athlete, so you're going to have to play with it and figure out how to get it accurate, because the more precise you can synchronize, the more valuable it's going to be to you. So I'm going to import a video. So I'm just dragging my video that's in my download folder over, and it's going to prepare the environment and import that video. All right, so first thing we have to do is synchronize the video. For this swimmer, he's swimming, this is David Morgan, Australian Olympian. He is swimming butterfly. Butterfly is one of the more difficult strokes to synchronize because it's, as you can see, very choppy stroke. So to synchronize this data, we need to set the first marker. So we'll say peak velocity occurred about this point, and then we will need to set where peak velocity occurs in the video with this scrub bar. So we're gonna say right after his feet leave the wall, which is, call it this frame right here. Okay, and now I like to check to make sure that it looks like it's synchronized, but I've already done that. So I hit the restart button that sets everything back to 0. Everything is fully synchronized, and we can watch the video with the data, or we can break it down and step through the video. Later on we'll have playback speed available, so you can cut it down to a quarter speed or half speed or whatever you want to look at. But what I'm going to do now is just a little bit of basic analysis just to show you how this tool can be used. We could see, I'm going to take a look at this point here, which it looks like peak slowdown. And I want to see what's going on here, why he slowed down so much. It's towards the end of the rep, so he's probably slowing down a little bit, but we're gonna set our step size to 50 and try to get basically right on peak decel or lowest velocity. You can see here where he is. He's in the front of his catch right before the catch starts, so this makes sense that this would be his slowest point. Legs are probably slowing him down, arms are slowing him down, and he's right about to accelerate as that pull is just starting to speed him up. So I want to look at this and compare it to somewhere where he did this better, which would have been around here, and see if we can see anything in the technique. Okay, so I've taken a screenshot. I basically used my snipping tool to just capture this point in time to see if we go back to where he did this little catch better, he didn't decelerate as much. Let's see if we can see any difference. So I'm gonna step back by 500. Okay, we're right about the same position. So let's pull up the screenshot. We can see here there may be a little bit of fatigue setting in, but we are seeing still a change in the technique in this phase of the stroke. You see the head position is higher, the back is arched a little bit more, creating more of a slight banana shape, and he's also pitched kind of down in the water more, versus this, his head appears to be more in line with his body, more streamlined shape. And I believe that appears to be what is creating this slight difference in slowdown. We built this tool specifically just to do this type of thing and learn. It's definitely going to take a lot more data, a lot more repeats to solidify that this is actually a substantial change, something that we want to change in his technique. But it's just something that I noticed right away when I pulled this up, and I wanted to share it with you in this tutorial. So if you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out on the Destro Machines website via the Contact Us page. And I hope you get a lot out of this. I know it's a very exciting tool. So thank you for being a customer, and have a good day.